Well, hello. Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only horror movie review podcast that can actually operate on a skeleton crew. Before I bring on the only other co-host that's here tonight, unless something changes, fingers crossed, let's see what we're looking at tonight.
Tonight we reviewed The Omen. The Omen is a 1976 supernatural horror film directed by Richard Donner and written by David Seltzer. An international co-production of the United Kingdom and the United States, it stars Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, David Warner, and Harvey Stephens in his film debut. In The Omen, American diplomat Robert adopts Damian when his wife Katherine delivers a stillborn child. After Damian's first nanny hangs herself, Father Brennan warns Robert that Damian will kill Katherine's second unborn child. Shortly thereafter, Brennan dies and Katherine miscarries when Damian pushes her off a balcony. As more people around Damian die, Robert investigates Damian's background and realizes his adopted son may be the Antichrist.
What a cute kid! That was such an adorable little kid. Hey, Carly, how are you?
Yes, he's so good. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just want to pinch that little Damian's cheeks.
I know, you just want to go pinch his cheek. He's so cute.
I will tell you one thing.
He is so cute.
Yes, he is. Before we get started, I know this was your pick, but I have to say that choice for Damian, that kid could look super, super sweet or super, super scared or super, super evil. I mean, perfect choice. The kid never says more than 5 words, and he nails it. All right, so Carly's also having trouble. So she's got a little internet issues. So I'll tell you my gist of the film. 1976, The Omen. I know Carly's also watched the remake, 2006. This was set in a time when demonology and Catholicism and scares of anything supernatural were a huge part of the fabric of cinema. You take The Exorcist, you take The Omen, you take Rosemary's Baby. It's all part of that fabric. And this was just deadlocked right in the middle of all that. So that being said, upon rewatch, this movie actually held up a lot better than I thought it would. I don't remember it being this good. I thought it was kind of cheesy when I watched it in the early 2000s for the second or third time. But watching it now, it actually still holds together. It's just one of those typical 70s films where it's just a little drawn out. It's all about character development and slow boiling the suspense. But otherwise, I thought it was done very well. And Carly, are you there with us? Carly is just going to be frozen. So this is going to be a me show today. All right. So maybe Carly will come back and come in and get a better internet connection. So as we know, Carly did watch the 2006 version. But for me, again, the kid's fantastic. I forgot completely this movie was directed by Richard Donner. Which was, I don't know, a total surprise for me for some reason. And with that said, like I said, it was kind of weird. Gregory Peck is a weird choice for this, for Robert. Yes, he's supposed to look like a diplomat and an ambassador. But overall, let's see if we can get Carly back here. No, Carly's gone. She's going to dump back in. So it was funny because sometimes Gregory Peck had gray hair. Sometimes he had dark hair. And I know it was only like a 5-year span, but it seemed like he aged back and forth throughout the whole film. So I don't know if that was just poor editing, but he was having all sorts of age problems. And yeah, it's just, let's see. We're going to get Carly back here in a second. Let's see if we can do this. Hey, Carly.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm just tap dancing the best I could till we could get you back. So
I appreciate it. I was saying, this movie is almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
And I feel it held up. But what do you think?
Well, I was saying all those things. I was saying that when I watched this in like the late 90s, early 2000s, it
Hmm.
looked cheesy to me because
Yes.
I'd seen it in the 80s and then I saw it again and I'm like, oh, it's kind of goofy. Like I thought the cemetery scene was really fake looking when I saw it in like the late
Hmm.
90s. But then when I watched it this week, it all held up again. I don't know why. It seems like the additional passage of another 20 years made it more of a period piece so that the graveyard
Yeah.
scene did not look as fake as it did to me earlier. I don't know why. But I was saying that, like this was an era of that type of film where it
Hmm.
was all about, demonology and exorcisms and demon babies and Antichrist were all part of that 70s fabric of cinema for so much of it. So what did you think though? Because we didn't hear any of the stuff you had to say for us.
None of it. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I feel that, for going on 50 years, it really did hold up. There were some parts in there that I was still like, yes, heads are gonna roll. But there were other parts that was like the cheesy 70s music when the nanny sees the dog
Mhm.
at the birthday party. That I was giggling through that. But that's the only part that made me giggle. And I went ahead and I watched the remake. And it is essentially, it's the same story, but it kept my attention better because it started out with showing the signs. And this is like real modern day things that have happened. And you kind of get where these Armageddon people are coming from.
Mhm.
And then it launches into the story. The story is essentially the same.
Okay.
But the pacing of it's tighter.
Okay.
And the little boy that they had playing Damian, yeah, he was cute, not as cute as the first one, but man, did he ever get off evil.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I
seriously.
I think I like it better when the kid can purely play both sides.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of this film that we're reviewing, when he's with the president, the American
Yes.
president, and he turns around with the cute angelic, cherub smile, and
Hmm.
you don't even see a glint of evil, but yet the entire film it was like his Angus Young, creepy looking. I don't know. I mean, he just like played that innocence so well, which you would expect from a kid that age. But when he was
Hmm.
like on the way to the church or going to the drive-through safari,
Yeah.
he just was so good at just like emoting that face, and that's whatever Richard
Hmm.
Donner did to get that performance out of that kid. He did a fantastic job.
I tell you, at the end of the 2006 one, there is no cuteness to this
Oh
smile.
boy! All right.
Oh, it's like the way the place that they stopped the filming, where it was just a half smile, it
Yeah.
really looked
Terrible.
evil,
Okay.
evil.
Well, I want before we get into our favorites, one thing I want to also talk about was we know where the kid ends up, and we know the whole journey of the Antichrist is to like rise through politics.
Hmm.
But the one thing, even though they kept talking, Gregory Peck kept talking about the president, and
Yeah.
him and Robert and Katherine are talking about the president, and you get the sense that they're all close friends. But
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
in 2006, you find out that he is the president's godson.
See, that's what either I fell asleep for a second or they
No,
just
I
didn't
don't
say
think they
those words
mentioned
because
it.
they never said that. Had they just said, hey, yeah, I'm going to go see Jack, quote unquote, the president of the United States, who is Damien's godfather, like I
No,
would.
he's the godfather of um, the dad.
Which dad? Robert?
Yeah.
Wait, so the president is the godfather of Gregory Peck?
Yes.
That makes no sense. No sense at all.
Well, in the second movie, the couple's younger,
Okay.
and the president is the godfather of this
Of the kid.
of ambassador.
Okay. Yeah, see, none of that really like played well. Because one thing when you think of a godfather, it's a godfather to a child who, if somebody dies, they raise the child in the faith, etc. And as long as this movie is, I didn't get that. I just kept hearing like, hey, President of the United States, I'm gonna go see the president. Oh, the president. But I never got the sense of like why they would adopt the kid. Like whether out of pity or sorrow or responsibility. I didn't get that. And that's the one thing for, like I said, for a 2-hour film that you couldn't just give me 2 sentences to really tie that in. I was a little disappointed in that. But let's not worry about my disappointments, because it's not about disappointments. This is about the things we love about this film. If I can get this to work. I don't know. It doesn't want to work. I can't get the
our favorites. It's up. Our
is it up?
favorites.
So weird because I'm not seeing it. Oh, so weird. Okay. Hey guys. This is the best. Oh, thank you. So Carly, you're in charge of making sure I do things right. Because mine's telling me it failed. My browser failed to play the video clip, but that's okay. All right. So you're gonna keep me honest. All right. So again, Carly, what was your favorite? There's not that many kills, but what are your favorites on this?
I've got to say, when the photographer's head gets torn off, that's fantastic.
Did they? Oh, whoa! Simmer down. Now, did they do the same kills in the same way in the sequel, or did they take a whole different license for how they did that?
Not in the exact same way, really, other than the priest and the nanny, swinging nanny.
Yeah.
But the sign was different.
Okay.
It wasn't like a glass thing that sheared his head off. It was a sign that flipped like this and took his head off.
Gotcha. Which is pretty cool. I think I've seen that in other ways. That was one that didn't hold up for me.
Really?
No, I mean, hey, again, you said it. 50 years old. Practical effect. They probably had a dummy with a head on it with some blood squirting in there, and then throw in the sheet of glass or whatever, and then just have it topple over. It looked cool. Don't get me wrong. It looked cool. It did not terrify me like it did when I was like, 15 years old. So, but the one that I thought like was the coolest was Father Brennan.
Oh yeah.
He's going through all this rigmarole, trying to get into the church. He's climbing spike-topped fences and banging on doors. Can't get in. You would think as a priest he would have the key. I don't know. But just the fact that like how he got impaled, I don't know, for some reason it was so simple, but yet still so effective because it didn't rely on practical effects. It didn't rely on a realistic head, like to be toppled off a body. So it wasn't as shocking, but it just, I don't know, for some reason it just like played perfectly for me.
And you've got to see the remake.
Okay.
Because the rod comes through plate glass window, so he is really impaled. It was fantastic.
Oh, Carly, I love you so much because you used to be such a sweet girl, and now you're just giggling about death and mayhem every day. So I gotta love that about you.
Murder baby.
But again, now with other people on the show, you're now like the elder statesman.
Murder toddler.
You're the murder maven, I guess, is what we're going to call you. So as we're going through this, what should I ask you? You had told me off, behind stage that Lee Remick's portrayal of Kathy as the mother of Damian and in the remake,
it's Julia Stiles.
What's that?
It's Julia Stiles in the remake.
Julia Stiles. Okay. So what was you? I think you said the second one, the remake was better.
Yes.
Why was it better than the Lee Remick one?
Because they showed the dreams that she was having. They showed, the buildup of why she felt so terrified of her own child. And she started thinking this isn't her child. And, you start seeing why she thought that way. It wasn't just you come into the shot and she's like, I got to talk to somebody. No, you've seen it before she says she needs to talk to somebody.
I see. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It was a little vague. Lee Remick, they go to the zoo, and I can understand baboons like freaking you out, like jumping on your car. Totally get that. But yeah, it was just kind of like she just went into like this weird, depression spiral, and and all of a sudden it's the kid's fault and not just weird happening. So yeah, we did not get that from the first film again. So I don't know if it's based. I'm sure it's based on a book, maybe. I don't know. I don't recall. But it seems like they did a better job at giving that information to the audience than in the first one.
I think what they did is go through and find what was missing and put it in. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I didn't know anything about dreams. We didn't really get a sense of Lee Remick having dreams. Now, here's my problem with the film.
Oh, okay.
They're on their country estate. He is now the ambassador to Great Britain. They have this beautiful estate countryside. They take the kid, and of course they're dragging that little dog / riding horse thing. And all of a sudden they're having a conversation. Robert and Kathy are having a conversation. And all of a sudden they turn around and somehow miss their 3-year-old kid is missing right next to a waterfall in a river.
Yeah, they should be more attentive.
Yeah, you were thinking they were like ahead of that kid. They weren't even behind the kid and watching him be ahead of them. Like I feel like they were terrible parents.
Yeah, they did that one different in the 2006 movie too.
Okay,
they did it more realistically. Like the telephone rang.
And not so negligently.
No, she was pushing him on the swing. Her telephone rang. She turned around to answer it, turned back around, and he was gone. But he did it on purpose to hide from her, to scare her. And she got a little upset over that. But
and I think every mother can understand being in a department store where you look away for 1 second and the kid's gone, and you spend like an hour and they're all hiding underneath the ring of clothes. So I get that completely. But the fact that we're just walking, having a conversation, we're like, hey, where's Damian? Oh, maybe he fell in a river. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. Yeah. It's like that just makes you look bad, not Damian.
The one thing that I had a problem with the movie, the original one, was when Miss Baylock comes in and she's like, I want to go see this child alone. And they're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
No, it didn't go. It wasn't like that in the
remake.
Second movie. She didn't just come out of nowhere, or she seemed to have been sent by the agency, honestly.
Okay.
But they didn't have her resume, and she had it, and she gave it to her, and and then she was like, I would like to see him. And then she followed Katherine to go see him.
Okay.
And then the phone rang, and Katherine had to leave the room, and that's when you see your evil eyes. But,
gotcha. See, that makes much more sense. I mean, I was sitting here watching it with Judy, and Miss Baylock is being escorted up these massive stairs to go see Damian, and somehow Robert and Kathy show up on the second floor from some other back stairs to meet her and demand her credentials and like talk to the agency. Yeah, it's like they were super trusting at the worst times.
Yes.
And then super
suspicious
and suspicious. Skeptical. In all the other times. And I'm like, you guys need to get your brains on straight, because you're like, again, the worst parents in the world. You're like, oh, you're here? Okay. Oh, you called? No, I thought you called. Oh, all right then, whatever. I was like, these were the worst people possible to be raising.
Yeah. Yeah, they had no business having a child. The other in the remake it's much more it just makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
the whole movie makes more sense.
And again, maybe is it modern sensibilities? I mean, storytelling is storytelling, but I don't know why somebody would let like just such obvious, like if you're trying to have sympathy for somebody as a parent, and that's how you approach raising a child, it just seems Like, dude, you're terrible. It's like this Antichrist should be with a better family than you because you're doing a terrible job and just letting anybody come in. Get rid of the dog. Okay, sir, I'll get rid of the dog. I thought you got rid of the dog. Oh, okay, I'll take care of it. I mean, they were pushovers, these people.
They were.
Oh.
They were. And I just lost my train of thought. I hate it when that happens. You know what? Let's just go forward because I can't remember what I was thinking.
That's okay. Well, you know what? Then we'll go right into your favorite thing. Maybe. Hey, I can see it this time. How are we rating this film? Obviously, I don't know. You get to choose who goes first. I think that's me.
Yeah.
Who else is here? I guess it's just me. All right. I did come up with something, and I remember it because we had the subtitles on. So I give this film. I mean, it holds up, but again, we've already talked about like all the problems that are inherently in it of a film this age. But yet, I've seen films older that have better development, and you can't keep poking fingers at it. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5, even though it's a classic, even though it's of the era of The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 a chorus singing in Latin. I give it 3 choruses singing in Latin because in the subtitles it kept saying it as the music and the melancholy, and you'd hear the you'd hear all that going on.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. So I thought I would include that.
Fantastic.
How about you?
Okay. Well, do you mind if I rate them both?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I do not mind. Go right ahead.
The first one, I agree with you. It just for the plot holes and things of that nature, it needs to go to about 3.5 hellhounds.
Oh, all right. But they were so cute, the hellhounds. They were also so cute.
Yeah, that was the one problem I had with the new movie. The first dog you see is the shepherd-looking dog, and it looks like it's smiling while it's panting. So,
yeah.
That doesn't look scary.
And then they overdubbed the growl in it. Is that what they did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what do you give the remake?
The remake. Honestly, I've got to give it a solid 4 scooters.
Scooters. Okay. I'm assuming
because it's not a tricycle.
Okay, I was gonna say which ironically, I just finished watching Saw X. It just came available.
Oh,
and of course, it brings up the little puppet on the tricycle, and that's the only thing. That's the only thing I could think about when Damian. Well, actually, 2 things. If you remember Danny Torrance from the original Shining on his big wheel, and the puppet on the tricycle in any of the Saw movies, and you marry those 2 and give them a baby, that reminds me of Damian on his tricycle with Ms. Baylock, like going around in circles and circles and circles till he jets out into the mezzanine hallway.
Yeah, the remake has them on one of those scooters that you just push with one foot and you get on it, and
like a razor.
Yeah.
Like a razor scooter? Okay. Was he younger or was he older?
He was about 5 years old.
Okay.
So they kept that the same. They kept the times the same, the dates the same.
Was it based in the 70s, or are you just talking about the day in the month?
The day in the month.
Okay. But it was set modern in 2006.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. I mean, another problem I had with the original film, I mean, yes, I feel bad for Lee Remick and a stillborn child, of course, not a doubt. But the choice to be like, take this child, I was like, hey, there's a kid here. It's got your name on it. Man, I mean, I hope they treated that with a little more realism in the remake as well.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
That's what kind of, it's still here you go.
Here's a baby.
Replacement.
Yeah. The one thing that I did not remember, which I only remembered in this telling, was that Father Brennan had the sign of the devil. He had the 666 on his body. I didn't remember that. So he
Oh,
was
did I?
obviously an agent for the Antichrist, which is why they were trying to push the kid
Yeah.
onto Gregory Peck. But yeah, I was like, wow, that's like a little detail I had completely forgotten in all the film tellings and watchings. So that was interesting. I will say that at least I got something new out of it by watching it.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that part too. And then it makes more sense where he's saying he's trying to get to heaven. He's trying to save, because I'm sorry, I keep bringing up the new one. He keeps talking to him about needing to save his soul, and that's the only way he's going to get to heaven, saving the Father's soul. And well, it doesn't work.
It never does. But I will say, do you remember Annabelle? Like, I think it was Annabelle Origins or Annabelle Creation, where they had the closet and it was completely like plastered over with the pages of the Bible.
Yes.
So when the photographer and Robert go to Father Brennan's room, it's a 47 crosses and all the pages of the Bible just kind of, lacquered onto the walls. That also reminded me of Annabelle in that way. I know obviously Annabelle was way more recent, but the idea that you're using the same trope of like, we're just going to put the Holy Scripture on the walls to keep out all the evil or block the evil. I thought it was kind of cool. I don't know why, but the room itself when they were in there, which is why I included it in the movie package with the photographer, which is, I don't know, it was a cool scene to see just the utter totality of him trying to keep himself safe or hidden or something from the other evil demonic forces.
Yes.
Yeesh.
I'll tell you what, definitely give the 2006 one a try.
Okay. All right. Well, I will take your recommendation. I just kind of ran out of time, only because I saw X, and I'm like, I gotta watch it. Now,
what's it on? I say that
Stars. I think it's on Stars.
I don't have Stars.
Yeah, I know, and I know you don't really want to watch it. So
no, not really.
So here's the thing, everybody listening and watching. Brooke is not here, and Nicole is not here. So I believe Nicole was supposed to be the next selector of a film, followed by Brooke. So I don't want to give it up. So we're going to leave it as a surprise.
Yeah.
To once you see the hey, come see our show, you'll know what show we're going to be watching and reviewing. So we'll leave it as that. And hey, you know what? You and me, we did all right. We had some flubs and some technical difficulties, but we made it.
We did. We made it, and we swore we wouldn't do this with it less than 3, and here we did it. And you did a lot of it yourself because my phone froze.
Well, who knows what the people saw? They could have been listening to you, and I was gone. Who knows what happened? Right. I mean, I don't even know if I want to watch it back. God knows what kind of craziness has occurred. But with that, I'm going to give you my only co-host for the evening, all my love and love back. Thank you.
Love.
And to the audience, take that, put that right down in my pocket. And to the audience, we apologize that Nicole and Brooke were unable to join us today. Hopefully, we'll see them next time. So, Carly, goodbye to you, my love.
Bye.
And to everybody here, thank you so much for joining us. And with that, always know we're here to scare you later.